Hi everyone, or as they say in Taiwan, ni hao. My name is Lexi, and I was granted a Fulbright English Teaching Assistantship grant in Taiwan for 11 months. This vlog is hopefully to share some insight about my life, what I'm doing in Taiwan. Hopefully, I'll be able to show you my school, my students if I'm allowed to, but um, hopefully it'll be a day-to-day life or a week-to-week life. I don't really know how my schedule will be yet, so this is all a little bit of a waiting game right now because I'm in quarantine. So after that, I'll be able to share a little bit of an update as to what I'll be doing. But this vlog is also for future Fulbright applicants who want to know a little bit more about Taiwan or if they think they have enough to want to do this. I fully encourage you to do it because I didn't think anything about it. And as you know, I am a biology major and psychology minor, and I'm here as an ETA. So it's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm really excited to start this adventure and to have some memories that'll last a lifetime. So again, this vlog is the start of my vlog is to give you some insight as to what I did before I even flew and then flying and what I'm doing right now in Taipei. So let's begin. Before we begin, though, I am representing Yingling because Skook, yeah. To start off, there were two things that I needed, well, three things I guess I needed before I flew. So the first thing was I had to get my visa, which I'm not going to show because it's kind of confidential, but I needed that, and that was in New York City for about 3 weeks. And if any of you were around me, I actually traveled to New York City to retrieve my passport and my visa because I was afraid it was going to get lost in the mail. So that was a fun adventure to start with. A little bit of stress off my shoulders once I finally got it because um, it was really hard to get someone and to figure out what my visa was and where the process was. Did it process? Is it done? Or any of that. So that was the most stressful part of getting here to begin with. So after that, I also had to have a negative COVID test within 48 hours. I got a PCR and a rapid NAAT test. Um, I got both of those in time. Both were negative, so I was able to fly. And then also, I had to fill out a home health declaration and group quarantine notice form. Basically, all it has, it looks like this. It just has like your name, your date of birth, passport number, where you're flying, where you're landing, when you're landing, do you have a negative COVID test? Did you get a booster? Are you vaccinated? Blah, blah. And then where is your quarantine hotel? Because in Taiwan, you have to quarantine for 8 days. And if you don't, you can be fined a lot of money. So I am not looking to go into any more debt. So here I am. Anyways, so after you fill all that out, you get like a confirmation note, and you're supposed to screenshot this because when you're flying to Taiwan, they won't let you check in until you get to the airport because they need to make sure that you have this and your negative COVID test and then your visa. So that was all filled out. And while I was packing, I was allowed to take two 50-pound checked luggage, a carry-on, and a backpack. And if any of you know me, I tend to overpack a lot. So that was really hard for me because how am I supposed to pack up 11 months of my life when I overpack for a 3-day trip? So thanks to my mom and my dad, they kind of got my suitcase underweight, and I bought a scale from Amazon, which I really recommend doing because then you're kind of cheating the system and you know how much your bag weighs before you even get to the airport. So when I got to the airport, both of my bags were one bag was 50 pounds exact and another bag was 49.6. So I didn't have to pay any overfee charges, which was amazing because I definitely thought I was going to have to. So that was a good start to my trip. And then I had my carry-on bag, which was very heavy, and my backpack, which was also really heavy because that fit all my shoes that I couldn't fit in my bag. So they checked me in, they looked at my PCR test and they looked at my home health quarantine notice and they looked at my visa. And I went up through security like normal. Because I was flying a domestic flight first, I didn't have to arrive 3 hours early. I only had to do the 2 hour um, flight time, where you show up early. So I had a lot of time between. I got there really early just to make sure, everything was going to work out for me. So I had some breakfast and I was just doing stuff on my computer. And then I flew at 8:32 a.m. on Friday, the 12th. And I flew from Philadelphia to San Francisco, California. And I got to San Francisco at 11:04 a.m. on the 12th, same time. Um, and for Pennsylvania, that was like 2:35. It's like a 6 hour flight. So um, California is 3 hours behind. So I got a little bit of a layover there. And then I flew from uh, San Francisco, California to Taipei, Taiwan. And that flight was from 2:35 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. on Saturday the 13th. So it was like a 11, 12 hour flight from there. Um, my flight, my airplane in general was huge. I've never been on an airplane that big, so that was really cool to see. Like the business class where they get like the seats that like recline and they get their own little cubby hole. And then I was only in economy, so I had the normal seat. But you got to do what you got to do. It's a free flight. It's covered by Fulbright, so I'd rather do that than pay like $1,500 for a flight. But I did have a full row to myself, so that was nice. And then when I got on the flight, I had my own TV screen to watch free movies and TV. And then I had Wi-Fi on my phone, so I could text or WhatsApp people whenever I wanted to. So that was really good to have because my mom was stressing about my flight there and when I landed. Let me know when you land. Let me know when you land. And I was like, well, I'm trying to, but I don't know yet. So the Wi-Fi is kind of sketchy, so I wasn't able to text like every second of every hour. Um, on I flew United, so they provided me with 2 meals and a snack, which was pretty good. I would consider them like TV meals, but you got to do what you're gonna do for 13 hours. It kept me occupied. The movies kept me occupied. I slept a lot on the plane because technically I was flying like overnight, even though it was kind of day there. Um, but yeah, so I landed in Taipei at around 7 o'clock at night, which I am 12 hours ahead of the US. So it's 6:23 p.m. here on August 14th, and it's 6:23 a.m. on August 14th there in the US. And right now, the weather is pretty rainy out. It tends to rain a lot because it's really hot here. Um, Today's high was like 98 degrees and it felt like 108, and the humidity was like 80. So I'm not very good with the heat. And you probably are like, Lexi, why did you apply to Taiwan? Well, that didn't factor into my decision at that point. I didn't know it was going to be this hot. But I'll adjust and I'll get there. And they say that you don't even use air conditioning by the time you're done because your body's so acclimated to the hot weather and all of that. I see people in here wearing jeans and I'm like, oh my god, it's like 108 degrees. Like, how? I'd be dying. But hopefully my body will get used to this weather and I'll be okay. um and now I'm going to talk about the process of getting off the airplane in Taipei and then how I got to my quarantine hotel, which is where I'm at right now. And then I'll give you a little tour of my quarantine hotel, although it'll only be like 30 seconds or less because it's really small. But besides the point, let's get right to it. So when you get off the airplane, you walk a little bit and you get stopped in this big long line. I guess it depends on when flights come in, but a lot of flights were coming in at my time, so I had a longer line than most people, I guess. And what you're there for is, since you filled out your home health declaration, you should get a text message, and you'll want it to show up like this, which I can show you, like a green with a barcode. And that's how you'll get to the next process. But I wasn't getting that barcode, like I wasn't getting that text message. And the people are really helpful in the airport. I was kind of nervous because I wasn't getting the text message, not like what Fulbright was telling me I was going to get. And like the process was a little mixed up, but you live and learn, and you go with the punches. And so I wasn't getting this text message. And the lady came up to me and she was like, "Do you have this?" And I was like, "I'm not getting it. Like, I don't have that." And she said, "Oh, do you have a SIM card yet?" And I was like, "No." So she led me over to the area where you buy a phone plan and a SIM card. So I, what I did was I bought a 6 month plan, which was about 3,600 NTD, which is approximately like $120 in US currency. And I was able to pay by my credit card. They accepted MasterCard, which was really good because I didn't want to pay with like NTD yet, since I didn't exchange any money yet. I wasn't able to do that over in the US, so I was going to do it here. But yeah, so they were able to take my credit card and they put the SIM card in my phone, and then I got back in line. And basically, I still wasn't getting that text message. And she came up and asked me again. And I was like, "I'm still not getting it. I got my SIM card." So she put something in her phone, like my name, my passport number, and my new phone number that I got. Because when you get a new SIM card, you get a new phone number here. And my phone number is +866 because that's the Taiwan country code instead of +1 with the US. So I have 12 digits instead of the regular, what is it, 10, 9, 3, 6, 10, instead of the regular 10 that the US has. Um, but so she put that in her phone, and then I got the text message, and I was able to pull up um, the barcode in the green. And you want this because you can't get anywhere until you get this. So this was the worst part of the process, was getting this barcode. It took a while. Probably took me about a good like 45 minutes to get. So after this, like, life was easy, life was a breeze getting through the next like 4 steps. Um, so she led me into another line, which they asked for this, and then they lead you in, and this is where you get your COVID tests, and you take a picture of your quarantine and all of that. That's up to date. So you get in line. I got to a table with a guy, and basically what they ask you to do is they ask you to take a picture of this. So this is the quarantine process right now in Taiwan. It's 8 days. I was on day 0 yesterday because I only flew in at like 7 o'clock at night, so it didn't count as a full day. So today is actually my first real day in quarantine. And basically, what happens is, if you don't, well, let's backtrack a little bit. So I took a picture of that, and then they give you these 2 COVID tests. They look like the ones in the US. And what you do is, if you don't feel good on day 2 of quarantine, so that would be Monday for me, I would take one of these. But as of right now, I have no symptoms. I feel fine. And I won't take this until day 5 of my quarantine. And so the first 4 days, I have to stay in my hotel. I can't leave it. And just to make sure like I don't have symptoms or any of that. But on day 5, if I take this and it's negative, I can send it down to the hotel, and they'll let me walk outside. I can go explore Taipei a little bit, but I have to be back before midnight, because if not, they call the police, and they look for you and they'll fine you. So I am not looking to make any contact with the police department unless I really need it. So I will be back before midnight on day 5. You heard it here first. So yeah, so I went through that, and what they also do is they scan that home health declaration, and they give you a little container with a piece of paper, and that's your spit test. And you'll need this before you can go get a taxi. So I went through that. And then also, they give you a green card when you get off the airplane, which I didn't cover before. But it basically, you either get a green or a red card. And because we came from the United States, we got a green card, which means that I was like low for any of the diseases that they were looking for at the moment. So I was able to just walk right through to the next station. If you got a red card, you just had to put your bag on like a conveyor belt and they had to look at it and make sure that you had nothing that you were bringing in that could possibly harm anyone or any of that. So the next station after that was currency exchange or customs. I stopped at the currency exchange because um, I only had US dollars at that point. So I exchanged 500 US dollars, and that came to approximately like 14,000 something NTD, which is like a lot in Taiwan, but I wanted to make sure I had enough before my stipend kicked in because I don't exactly know when that starts yet. But I'll show you. So this is 1,000 NTD, which this covered my taxi cost, which was about $30 in US dollars, which I'll get to later. But this is what 1,000 looks like. This is a 500. And then this is 100 NTD. This is approximately like 3 to 5 US dollars, and this covers a meal at like a restaurant. This is a normal meal at a restaurant. So I think I'll be okay with food. I am so excited to try all the food in Taiwan and to get out and see the different restaurants. When I got into my cab and before I got to my hotel, I saw there was a Starbucks, so I wanted to see if like they have different drinks, although that's like pretty US thing, but it's nice to see that when you're coming from home. And then they also had a 7-Eleven like Hello Kitty themed, which Hello Kitty is really big over here, and I wanted to see what that's about because that sounds kind of funny and cool. Um, Anyways, backtrack. I kind of get a little off topic sometimes, so I'm backing up the process. So after currency exchange, I went through customs, and that's just like a normal customs. You fill out that form, like how long you're going to be here, do you have a visa, and all of that. And they stamp your passport, and you go through. And then I went to get my luggage. My luggage was on carousel 8, and I'll show you. I got a little handy dandy cart because I was really nervous. I was going to have to cart these 2 bags and like my carry on and my backpack through the airport, which was like a lot. They're really heavy and it's kind of awkward to carry everything. So I was lucky to have that cart with me. And so I took that cart and I wheeled it through the little carousels, and then it led me outside. Luckily, in this airport, everything is in like Chinese or Mandarin, and then there's an English part under it, and then there's a lot of people there that speak English, and they're pointing like, if you look lost, this is where you're supposed to go. So it was really easy and really convenient, and I had no trouble figuring out where the next process was because someone was always there to help me. So I went outside, and there were 2 police officers that are part of the airport, and they tell you to leave your bags, like go do your spit test. And I just took like my phone, my passport, and any like confidential information that I didn't want around if something would happen or if someone would take my bag. So not that I felt like uncomfortable or I thought something was going to happen. I felt really safe the whole time. So none of that was like in my head, but I just wanted to make sure I had it with me just in case they asked for it too. And what this next process is, it's basically a big line, and you go and they lead you to a cubby hole. And what you do is this your spit test for COVID-19, and you cough. It's like a deep throat saliva test. So you cough and you get spit in your mouth, and you keep it in your mouth for like 45 to 60 seconds, which felt like a really long time. And then you spit it in the container, put it in a bag, you use hand sanitizer, and you show them that you did it, and they spray it down with some sort of like disinfectant. They spray you down too, and they give you this handy dandy sticker, which I'll show you. It's still on my jacket and take it off yet. and it says that you finished like the COVID-19 process and that you're quarantining now. And you show this to like the person to let you out, and they let you out of that gate and you go retrieve your luggage again. And after that, your next step is to go to your quarantine hotel, which I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So the police officer probably like noticed that I was lost, and he's like, do you know where you're going? And I was like, oh, I'm going to my quarantine hotel. And he asked where it was. And I said, like, the Orange Hotel. And he goes, in Taipei. And I was like, I didn't know there was more than one. So I showed him my form, and he showed me to go to number 25. And 25 there is like the line for the taxi. So I'll show you that. Um, my taxi line, that's what it looked like. This is the line. I had to cross over the street to get there. And when you get into that line, they ask for your home health quarantine declaration barcode again. They scan that, and by the time that you're already at the front desk, they have all your information. They'll ask, "Is this your name?" Yes, and "Are you going here?" Yes, and only one person, because you're only supposed to have one person in the taxi unless you're family. Um, and I said, "Yes, it's only me." And then they give that information to the taxi driver. It's like a little certificate, like yellow slip or whatever, and they drive you to your quarantine hotel. Before you get in the taxi, too, they also spray you down with some disinfectant. They spray like from here down, and then your back down, and then they spray your shoes, and they spray your luggage. Um, so they loaded my luggage into the taxi, and I had a 40-minute ride to my hotel. I was able to look out the window. Taipei reminds me of New York City. It's lit up like that. Buildings are really close to one another, and it's very populated. So there were people everywhere. Like on every street that I saw, there were people out. It also was like a Saturday night, so I would assume everyone would be out. Like it's not like a work day or any of that. Um, so I got to my quarantine hotel. My taxi driver dropped my bags off. He said it was 1,000 NTD, which is about $30. And Taiwan has a very fixed rate with taxi drivers. It just depended where you were going, what city. So Taipei was 1,000. That was the cheapest. And then if you're going anywhere else, it's a little bit more. And I asked for a receipt because Fulbright will reimburse me for that. Luckily, he knew what that was, but I also had the translation on my phone if he didn't know what that was. But a lot of people do speak English here. From grade 1 up. You learn English, so most people know at least a little bit about it. So um, I got my luggage, and I looked around, and I was like, none of these say like Hotel Orange on them, and there's no orange building. Like, I don't know where I'm going. So all I did was I was like, where do I go? And he pointed, and I was like, oh, okay. So I don't know. I was going in that direction. I was like, wheeling my luggage. I looked like the lost American trying to find where I'm supposed to go. But everyone's really welcoming here. I was right to the hotel, and they opened the door. They helped me with my bags. They led me in like a little room. It was like a side room, so I didn't go through the lobby because technically I'm in quarantine still, so I wasn't able to like. I'm not supposed to interact with a lot of people. And one thing I didn't mention is I was wearing a mask the whole time. I had to wear a mask on my flight, and Taiwan, you still have to mask pretty much everywhere. They check your temperature and all of that. Um, so that was a little bit different from how I am in the US previous to this. So I'm getting used to masking again, which is a little odd for me. And I'll have to share that in my schools, like this is what we're doing and all of that, and how it's different from here. But when I got into my hotel area, they sprayed down my luggage. They sprayed my hands and my feet with some disinfectant. They took my temperature, checked my passport to make sure it was me. And they gave me my hotel card, my room card, and they said to go up, and this is my room. You go in, And I didn't bring my luggage with me. They were going to bring it up separately. They probably had to disinfect it some more. I don't really know. But I took like any documents again that I thought that I would need or just in case something happened. Not that, again, not that I thought anything was going to happen. I felt very safe the whole time. But I just needed to make sure I had these documents with me. I thought like that was very important for me. And then I got in, but my luggage came up like less than 5 minutes by the time I got here. And here I am for the next 8 days. I'll give you a little room tour, although it's really small. So this is my bed. It's very nice, very comfortable. I have a TV, and I have been watching TV actually. And even though it's in Chinese, there is one English channel. It's just like world news or whatever. But I've been watching ping pong and Little League Baseball World Series in Taiwan because Taiwan's a really big baseball fan. So that brought me a little close to home because right now Little League World Series is on. So I'll be cheering for Chinese Taipei. Woohoo! And yeah, besides that, that's my bed, my TV. And then I have a little door. It has a balcony, but it's locked. You're not allowed to go out there. And I have a little window right here. And then aside from this, this is my bathroom area, my sink and my mirror. And then right there is the door. So it's really small, but I'm making it work. I'm not really claustrophobic. And it's got everything I really need at this moment. Um, I am really excited because when I got to the hotel, they gave me a welcome bag and it has a bunch of like little things in it. But what I'm most excited about is I got these chopsticks and they're my first official pair of chopsticks from Taiwan. So I've been eating dinner with them and I'm starting to like I can use chopsticks, but I'm starting to learn to use them with like everything because that's what they do over here. I did get a fork and a spoon though, so if I need it. Um, but yeah, I get 3 meals a day. They're delivered outside my door. And when the time comes, I just open it and it's on like a little shelf out there. For lunch or for breakfast, I had like milk tea and a croissant kind of looking pastry. It was really good. I can't complain. I have some like green tea and some tea and some coffee in my room, so I can make that. And for lunch, I got like a bento box. I don't really know what's in it yet, but it looks really good. I didn't eat it because I slept through lunch, um, but I'll be excited to try this. Although I had dinner and I'm using my chopsticks. It's like a chicken, onion, and mushrooms in like a sauce. It's really good. And I also got fruit and yogurt. Um, what else can I say about this place? I don't think I have much else. I'm pretty jet lagged at this moment. Jet lag is real. I woke up at like 5 this morning because I slept the entire flight really, so I wasn't really tired, but I figured I should sleep to get used to it. So I woke up at 5 and I took like a 3 hour nap from like 11 to 2. And now I'm still kind of tired. So it's 6:43 p.m. I'll probably go to bed by like 8 o'clock because I have to get up. And I have Zoom meetings tomorrow for Fulbright. And yeah, besides that, I'm going to try to find ways to keep me busy. So this is probably one way to keep me busy. Um, yeah. So here I am in Taipei, Taiwan. I'll be flying to Penghu in a couple days, and I will update you guys about that. I'll probably update when I take a COVID test and what life is like outside of my hotel. And yeah, this is day one under the dome. I have 7 more days to go, but I'm so excited to be here. I'm glad that I'm finally here. It's been a long process. Although I miss all of you guys in the US, I am grateful that I was awarded this grant and I can experience what life is like in Taiwan. And I'm already excited to be here. And I don't like, I am a little homesick, I guess you could say, but not really because like my adrenaline's so high right now because I just want to be out there. I want to meet new people. I want to see what life is like. But yeah, I miss all of you guys from home. So I hope you keep up with me. And if you have any questions or anything, like feel free to reach out to me. My mom has my new phone number, and I can WhatsApp or I can Snapchat, Facebook Messenger. I have Wi-Fi in the hotel, but when I'm out, I'll probably only be able to use WhatsApp because I don't want you guys to get charged for texting me or any of that. You can also email me. Yeah, if you need anything or I didn't cover anything that you're kind of curious to know about, just let me know. And yeah, have a great Sunday morning since it's 6:45 a.m. there. My Sunday's almost over, so I am signing out. So bye.